Hey guys, Tactical Diesel Dad. I am having to make some decisions on where this channel is going to go. So the words tactical, diesel, and dad really encompass a lot of different things. I have property, had chickens, all these things. And so I wanted to show hey, daily life, chickens, farm stuff, and not that I have a farm, I have an acre, fixing things, help people out, give them interesting content. You've seen some of the stuff that I've, projects that I was working on. But unfortunately, I have had to deal with my wife filing for divorce, and that was at the beginning of February of 2022. So I've been in family court for just over 2 years, and I have had my eyes opened to the fact that we no longer live in a constitutional republic where you have freedom. You have the illusion of freedom, but you are not free. And I say that because as a combat veteran, police officer, been on a volunteer fire department that put me through fire school, and I got my Texas State certification for fire here in Texas, and went through EMT school. And when my wife filed for divorce, she made up a bunch of allegations saying that I was on drugs, I was an alcoholic, that she was terrified for her safety. And I was just blown away, what is happening here? We had been going through counseling and really pushing our church I was having to push my church, hey, we're supposed to come to you for counseling. So point being is that when she filed for divorce and started making these allegations, I was under the impression that we had a evidence-based court system where the Constitution says that you're innocent until proven guilty. And unfortunately, I was one of the lemmings that really thought that America was America. The idea of America is still there, but the America that you and I grew up in no longer exists. America is a corporate machine that is that people that were supposed to be our representatives have now gone in and use their offices for self-gain and to consolidate power for their own self-interests. And one of those areas is family law. It used to be not a lucrative business, and so attorneys didn't even want to touch family law. But unfortunately, when you had the passing of no-fault divorce, and you had the court system, attorneys specifically saw that they could essentially take a once stable family and their wealth, and attorneys just fight for the scraps and take everything from you. That's what's happening. You actually have more money in family law than all areas of law combined. So these ambulance chasing attorneys, or these corporate attorneys that sue these massive corporations and rake in $100 million on a frivolous lawsuit, those lawsuits, that area of law pales into comparison. Family law makes more money than all of those other areas of law combined. Is approaching the drug trade and how much money is involved in family courts. So I was thinking that okay, make these allegations. This is sad. I was crushed and devastated. Divorce is not something that I wanted. Love is a choice accompanied by emotion. It is not an emotion. You choose to love somebody. I choose to love my children, and there's nothing that they could do to where I would not love them. And so our country is no longer exists how you think it does. And so with those allegations, I had blood work from a month prior. I had VA blood work that proved that I was never on drugs, that I wasn't over consuming alcohol. And these were just frivolous allegations. But what happens is, in a high conflict divorce, first of all, my wife's mom has been married 5 times. I didn't realize, and my wife grew up, hey, if you don't like your husband, exchange him like a pair of underwear, and essentially that's what I was dealing with. So anyway, I'll release some information. I really hope all these that to give some encouragement to fathers out there that are just trying to fight to be in their child's life. No man should have to fight to be in his child's life. The number one cause of fatherlessness in this nation is family court, and the amount of judicial tyranny where they take your kids and mandate you to classes and mandate you to go see this person and hemorrhage money over here and hemorrhage money over there, and then you're brought down to nothing, is shocking to me. And it's all to keep the father thinking that he's going to have more time with his kids, and it never happens. Even with my evidence of not being an alcoholic, you can test liver enzymes and see if somebody's over consuming alcohol. Normal levels of GGT, which is the enzyme that they test for, are 2 to 64. I was at a 32. So I wasn't even on the high side of alcohol consumption, and still had my kids taken away. It took me 2 years. I just got overnights with my little girls. So any videos that you saw with me hanging out with them, that was temporary visitation. They turn a once stable family and rip the children from their parents, kicking and screaming. My children are traumatized. And in fact, I'm traumatized. Actually, I've been to war, I've been to combat, and never had any issues whatsoever with PTSD or anything. But I took some tests at the VA for PTSD, answering questions only based on family court, and tested positive for PTSD from family court. That is how traumatic it is. In fact, that right there, an empty car seat. No man. I have the Constitution, the law says that I have a fundamental right to parent my child. And this is why it doesn't matter if you believe in God or not. Some of our founding fathers were agnostic. If you get your rights from men, man can take them away. If you get your rights from God, only God can take them away. And so government can't infringe on these basic constitutional rights that you have. Well, actually they can, and they do every single day in family law. Judges act like little tyrants, and they take your children from you, and they traumatize your children, and they think, oh yeah, put your child in counseling, that'll solve it. Counseling doesn't replace. Counseling, one, doesn't claim to, psychologists and psychiatrists and counselors, they don't claim to cure anything. They'll dope you up on drugs instead of letting the kid see their father. And so you have a fundamental right to your children, and the courts ignore the law. The Supreme Court has heard all this and made rulings, but then family courts just ignore it. And they'll use things like best interest of the child, legal phrases, and they're ignoring history. The person that came up with that phrase, best interest of the child, was Adolf Hitler. And because he was building his Aryan race, and he had the best interest of the child as he was going around and taking children for his military. And so I'm going to, I have no other choice after waiting so long, waiting for these my facts and evidence to come out. And the judges don't care. They do not care about facts and evidence. I've been through 2 judges, and the case is so egregious with the violation of my rights that my first judge was actually kicked off the case. And so I'm on my second judge now. And yeah, it's not going any better because they just tend to believe that the mother is going to be what's best for the child instead of 50-50 custody, which that's what's best. And there's only a handful of states. I think Florida just passed, is the last one to pass, but we have to have 50-50 custody. That's what's best for children. What's best is the nuclear family. If you can't have the nuclear family, what's best in divorce is equal access to both parents. That's what's best for the developmental health of children. And women have been raising single women have been raising children for the past 50 years, and what do we have? Massive out-of-wedlock birth rates, suicide rates among children, high incarceration rates among single mothers, drug use, all these negative things, out-of-wedlock birth. all these negative effects skyrocket with a single mother. This is not blasting women, right? It's just the data. But statistically, single fathers raise the same statistical results as the nuclear family. So men are detrimental to the development of a child. And so when the government comes in and they rip children from fathers who only want 50-50, all these fatherhood rights groups, all they want is equal access to their children so that the children can see both parents. But unfortunately, in the courts, 90% of the time, the man loses custody, and it's devastating to children and fathers. I don't know how many grown men, combat veterans, police officers, people from all walks of life, in tears, talking about their experience, just wanting to see their child. That's all they want to see is their kid. And so I leave you with this. If the government can come in and take your children with no evidence, just based on allegations alone, and they take your children away and limit your access, if some of these guys don't see their children at all, are you truly free? Stay safe.